Good afternoon, students. In the earlier video, we have seen what is the importance of three different controllers: pneumatic controller, hydraulic controller, and electronic controllers. And what are the different parameters we have, that is Kc, tau I, and tau d, where which are going to play a vital role. So, in this video, we will see how a pneumatic PID controller can be implemented, mainly the schematic of pneumatic PID controller, what are its different elements we are going to have for a pneumatic PID controller, and what is how the process will be there if at all some error input is there, and it has been compared with set point, and accordingly what action we are going to get the control action. And we know that this pneumatic PID controller, the input will be error input, which is nothing but a comparison of set point as well as measured input, where you are going to get a error input, and final output will be a final control element output, where we should get a output of 3 to 15 psi. And prior to going this, so let us see what is the PID controller analytic equation. The PID controller analytic equation is given by m of t is equal to Kc. It will have three terms: Kc into E of t, that is proportional term, plus Kc into 1 by tau I integral E of t dt, that is PI term, that is integral term. And then we have third term is Kc into tau d into dE of t by dt, differential term, integral term, and multiplication term. So this will be referred as proportional action, integral action, and derivative action, that is P plus I plus D, that is proportional integral derivative controller. In most of the industrial applications, we will come across these PID controllers only. Why? Because it will have a numerous advantages when compared with normal proportional controller, proportional integral controller. Irrespective of the type of process, we can simply go with a PID controller by adjusting the variable controller parameter terms. Control parameter terms means what is Kc, what is tau I, and what is tau d. How should be Kc, how should be tau I, and how should be tau d. These Kc, tau I, and tau d, the values set up for these parameters is referred as controller tuning. Already we have seen that as part of the third unit. We have seen two methods, that is Cohen-Kuhn method and also Ziegler-Nichols tuning method, for tuning the values for quantitative values for Kc, tau I, and tau d here. And coming to the specific thing about pneumatic PID controller, this is the schematic of pneumatic PID controller. To start with, we have fixed, where we are going to have set point input. We will say that set point input is going to be fixed. Based upon our requirement, we are going to fix up the set point input. This is your measured input, this is your comparator. Set point input compared with measured input compared with set point input, it is going to generate an error of error input. Set point input minus measured input is will be referred as error input. This is given to a flapper here. So already we have seen in I2P converter, there is a flapper nozzle. Flapper is there and nozzle is there. The similar flapper nozzle mechanism will be used in the pneumatic PID controller. This is a flapper and this is your nozzle. The gap between flapper and nozzle plays a vital role here. And after this, we have a piping connection, where we are going to have a air supply, that is a standard air supply of 20 psi or 25 psi. Based upon our requirement, we can keep a 20 psi or we can have a 25 psi. This line is referred as a supply line and pressure is referred as PS there. And similarly, we have another line that is referred as two final control element. That means where we are going to give a controller output action to the succeeding element, that is final control element. Then output given is 3 to 15 psi, and this output pressure is referred as a response pressure, that is referred as P naught, and this will be referred as a response line there. Okay, and this response line is nothing but m of t, which is proportional to E of t. Why? Because in equation also we have seen we have different terms. In every term we are going to have a E of t, one with integral, one with derivative, and one with normal multiplication. Ultimately my manipulation output will be proportional to the error input what we are going to have there. And additional elements we have is then there is an relay valve which can move to the top side direction or which can move to the bottom side direction. Accordingly, across this vent the pressure variation will be observed here. Similarly, we have a capsule, there is a combination of diaphragms, and this is connected to one side of this nozzle here. And similarly, we have other additional elements, namely differential bellows, a rate tank, rate restriction valve, reset tank, reset restriction valve here. So here the differential bellows, whatever the output you are going to expect from this, will be referring a Kc value here. And the rate tank, what you are going to have, the area occupied here, it is referred as a CD, that is rate capacitance, that is CD value. Similarly, the adjustment what you are going to give for this one will be acting as a restriction, and that valve position will be given a RD value, resistance value. Okay, and this is RD indicated for derivative capacitance, CD derivative capacitance, RD derivative resistance. And similarly, other side we have a reset tank giving a integral capacitance and restriction integral resistance there. So the combination of these two will be referred as RICI, nothing but tau I is equal to Ri into Ci, that is referred as reset time. Similarly, we have tau D is equal to Rd into Cd, this multiplied by this, that is referred as tau D value, derivative time. Similarly, the value and the value we are going to get is Kc value, proportional gain value here. So these are the different elements we are going to have. And one more point we have to note is, whatever your output you are going to get from this differential bellows, we have given a connection here. This connection can be moved to either direction. That means I can move this connection to here such that my nozzle comes to left. That indicates the proportional band variation. So we have PB is equal to 100 by Kc. Okay, so whenever you want to adjust anything, proportional band variation for different applications, this adjustment can be done there. So this is how we are going to have a different elements as part of your pneumatic PID controller schematic here. So let us see the principle of operation of pneumatic PID controller. So let us start with for error input of E of t. Let us assume that my flapper moves down. So that means for a given error input, based upon the set point input and measured input, the error input is there, and based upon this error input, my flapper is moving down. That is my assumption what I am going to have. Whenever the flapper moves down, what happens? The gap between flapper and nozzle going to be decreased. The gap between the flapper and nozzle will be reduced or decreased. Due to which what happens? The back pressure existing in this particular nozzle column will be going on increasing. The back pressure is going to be increased here. It will have impact here. It will have impact here. As there is a supply pressure here, the impact will be less as part of this channel. Whereas my back pressure will be having more impact on the capsule here. What happens immediately? Whenever my back pressure increases, the capsule expands. Due to this back pressure, the capsule is going to be expands. Whenever the capsule expands, what happens? This air relay valve, let us assume that I am going to have it as a center position. What happens? Immediately it comes to top position. That means it will be, this air relay valve will be closing the channel moving from this one. What happens? The supply pressure coming will be closed here, and the vent pressure what you are going to have will be going on releasing. Let us assume that some pressure is there coming from here, or some pressure is existing here. This will be releasing here. Why? Because there is a open orifice here. So due to this orifice, this response line pressure will be going on decrease. That is what I have written here. Air relay valve goes up, supply pressure PS to FC decreases. Why? Because once the pressure is going on releasing across this point, we can going to expect a less output towards a final control element here. Parallelly, we can see in another side, that is across this part, what is happening here. In parallel, due to release of excess pressure through vent affecting P0, that means this excess pressure is releasing this one, which is what is been affected, your P naught is going to be affected. Why? Because some pressure is there, automatically this pressure is going to be down here. So whenever the pressure is going here and coming down, that means the pressure is being released. Bellows expand through rate and reset tanks. That means whenever the pressure, it will try to keep down here. That means whatever your bellows is there, they are going to be expanded. One side this pressure is, more pressure is released, so automatically this bellow will be expand, and this line also the bellows will be expand. For a fixed restriction, for fixed capacitance, that is Rd is fixed and Cd is fixed for a value, Ri is fixed, Ca is fixed for a fixed value. So this indicates Ca value and this indicates Ri value. For a whatever the position you are going to keep a control valve, Ri is fixed. Whatever a position you are going to keep for restriction for derivative, the Rd is going to be fixed. For a fixed position of this, these two proportional bellows will be expanded, due to which what happens, the bellows expand through rate and reset CD and Ci tanks and restriction elements Rd and Ri. What happens? The nozzle takes a new position. Why? Because automatically earlier the gap is less, reduced. Now what happens? This will be stretching back. Whatever your differential bellows output, it will be stretching back your nozzle here. And whenever the nozzle here, let us take my flapper. Earlier my flapper position is this one. After for a given input, it is coming down. So my nozzle is at this particular point here. After this particular position, what happens? My flapper stays here. My nozzle comes to a below position what you are going to have. This is your new position. For a given input, this is old position, this is your new position. This is for output, and whatever the output you are going to get here, whatever the pressure you are going to get here, that will be given to final control element here. So for fixed inputs you are going to have here, let us take, whenever it is going to take a new position, again the gap is being created across between the flapper and nozzle. Whenever the gap is being created, automatically there will be no back pressure and the position comes to back here, and this cycle will be repeated continuously. This I have taken for error input flapper moves down. Similarly you can expect and you can write on your own, whenever the flapper moves up, what happens? Flapper moves up, that is your assumption. Gap between flapper and nozzle will be increased. If at all you are going to consider the flapper moves, instead of moves down, we are going to expect a moves up. Accordingly you can write all these things and accordingly you can write the output. So I hope the principle of operation of pneumatic PID control is clear for everyone. I thank you, and we will see in the next video the hydraulic PID controller action. Thank you.